My fiancé and I have been together for 8 years and engaged for 3. I was doing my PhD program and juggling wedding planning. My fiancé took on much of that work, but it was perfect because our dream venue was booked until after my graduation. So what we did was book our dream venue 3 years in advance. It's a really beautiful venue, and the only slot we got was in September of this year. My sister got engaged a few months ago to her fiancé. They were planning to have a spring wedding next year. They had no venue lined up but had a few vendors and a set date. Yesterday, our parents invited us and RSOs to a family barbecue, where my sister announced to our extended family that she is expecting. Everyone was so happy for her and my BIL, who is a great guy. My nan asked my sister if the wedding was still on the set date, or if they were going to wait because of the baby. She said no, that she hoped to move it to September. No big deal. We don't have many out-of-town guests, so they could attend both weddings with no problem. Nan was happy and asked my sister if she needed help planning a wedding on such short notice. My sister then turned around and said, "That's what I wanted to talk to you about. I was really hoping we could take your venue. I really cannot stress myself too much with planning a wedding while going to maternity classes. And I think it is so beautiful. It would really mean a lot to me." It went silent. But everyone was looking at me, expecting me to say, "Yes, of course, everything for my little sister." My BIL looked very uncomfortable and told her that they had talked about this and that it was not okay to put me on the spot. But my sister just said, "Don't be like that. My sister wants to do what's best for me, so it's no big deal, right?" I just said, "Well, it kind of is. I don't know. I have my heart really set on the venue." Cue the crying. She stormed off. Nan told me that I was being selfish because she needed the venue more than I did. I tried to defend myself, and my mother said, "You waited 3 years. Would it have killed you to wait a few more months? When has your sister ever asked you for something?" A few comments later, my fiancé got really mad, and we left. My sister called me crying and said that it was unfair that I always get what I want and that I could have done this one thing for her. Dad said it is just a venue and what matters is the person you're marrying. He is kinda right, but we have been planning for so long. My fiancé is furious with my family and doesn't even want my sister to come. Now, my family is threatening not to come because I am being selfish and my sister needs it more than me because having a baby is too stressful. Update. My BIL called me and apologized for the inconvenience. He told me he had discussed it with my sister, and she had told him she would not ask. He is properly mad at her now and warned me that my sister is blaming me for potentially ruining her marriage. My father has sent me about 5 texts along the lines of, "I hope you are happy, your sister hasn't stopped crying since yesterday," and so on and so forth. My fiancé and I have decided to boot my sister from the bridal party and replace her with my aunt, who is the only family member who took my side. We have not decided whether or not we will invite my family as a whole. Furthermore, my mom took it upon herself to tell on us. She called my fiancé's parents and told them that it would be best if my sister got the venue because she is pregnant and preeclampsia runs in the family. Whatever that means. My future father-in-law told them to buzz off and basically ripped my mom a new one for expecting something so ridiculous, saying they were going to lose me if they kept playing favorites. So my mom is now crying too and saying that my father-in-law is an awful person. This is just getting so pathetic. It seems straight out of a bad soap opera. My in-laws are driving over to us currently with supper and wine, and they basically told me not to worry, that no matter what happens, they will be my safety net. I cried out of happiness. Update. So it hasn't been that long, but this post blew up. I was expecting only a few answers, but the support was overwhelming. What boggled my mind is that this story even flooded over to mainstream media. But let's get to the story. My sister saw this story while browsing on her Reddit account. She lost her mind. She accused me of painting her as a lunatic and misinterpreting facts. Info. My sister found out about the situation due to various media outlets and went on Reddit. She said I was being unfair, that she is family and that she asked nicely because she loves me. She also underlined the fact that the opinion of internet strangers doesn't count because family is more important, and I should focus on making my family happy. The only text I sent back was this: "I am sorry that you perceived it that way. I did not in any way distort what happened. As you might notice, I didn't describe your tone nor exaggerated anything. Perhaps you remember that night differently than I do, but I digress. I am sick and tired of bending to your will. My whole life, I have been your servant and your doormat. Remember all the birthdays I had to share with you because you would throw a tantrum if you didn't get presents? Or when you cried so that I would fill out job applications for you? But the thing that hurt me the most was when you ruined my graduation. I am done. I admit that I also spoiled you, but I will not do so any longer. If you want to marry so badly before your baby is born, then you could look at Hotel X that offers last-minute weddings. I have spent too much time planning my wedding to just gift it to you. And if you want to ruin our relationship over this, then go ahead. I will sleep soundly, knowing it wasn't my fault." She only sent me wow. You must love me so very much, and blocked me. She unblocked me this morning to send me this wedding planner. Hello, dear. I got the message from your mother, and will proceed with the rebooking of the venue on the spot. However, this will have extra costs as we have to change the names on the contract. Please come by my office tomorrow so we can sign the new contract. Sister, that's great. I'll be there at 9. My parents. My parents haven't actually written to me since the thing with my father-in-law. My older brother, yes, I have an older brother, but he lives in another city and wasn't at the barbecue. That's why I didn't mention him. Plus, he initially could not come to the wedding because of work and changed his plans after hearing the whole story, contacted me and wanted to know what happened because he got a weird story from mom and dad. Mom had told him that I had offered, prior to the barbecue, to give up the venue to my sister and that I humiliated her. I told him what really happened, and he had no problem believing me. We talked a lot about our parents' behavior, and he confessed that part of the reason he moved was because, and I quote, Mom and Dad were terrible to us. He told me that Mom had gotten wind of the post and was mad at me for betraying my family. I haven't written my parents the things many of you advised me to because I have to come to terms with the fact that they love my sister more than me, if they love me at all. The wedding. We sat together and put passwords with the majority of our vendors and also with the venue directly. We hadn't talked to our planner yet, which is why my sister's text worries me so much. Also, we canceled the catering that my parents paid for. So short term, we won't be able to get a full catering as we wanted. But all our friends and my fiance's family will help us prepare a buffet, and everyone is going to chip in. That will be our bachelor party. As we will have to spend more on our food now, we canceled our bachelor parties and we'll have a family and friends cooking session. Thank you again for helping me see how toxic my family is. I will try to sort it out. If they apologize from the bottom of their hearts, they will be allowed into my wedding, but if not, then, well. I still have my brother, who will be walking me down the aisle, and my aunt. Update. We called my planner, and she was actually horrified. She told me she had never even spoken to my mother since the day we went to book the venue. She assured me that even if they were to call and say that I wanted it, I had to be present to make any changes. So we informed everyone who will work for us on our wedding, and they offered to hire security for that day at a reduced price.